You're not allowed to tell your spouse or significant other what to do, but you can tell your boating passengers. Stick around to find out more. Hey, I'm Sean from Cove Lessons in Boating. And one of the reasons you got into boating was the social aspect of it. You probably want to get out on the water, spend time with family, but you often have people come on board who have never boated before. Make sure you don't make the mistake of just assuming that they know what's right and wrong on a boat, and you're going to want to give them a slight education before they get on board so that they feel comfortable and they feel like they won't make a mistake, and also for the safety of everybody else on board. There's definitely no question that there are times when people are on boats and make mistakes. I'll run through a few of the common ones and make sure that when you have people out on your boat, you fill them in on some of these details so that the day on the water is a little more enjoyable for everybody on board. Firstly, let's start with PWCs. So if you have a Sea-Doo or a Yamaha Wave Runner and you've got friends coming and they're going to go for a ride with you, the simple things are the best. Obviously, you're going to want to make sure that they're wearing a life jacket so that they're in compliance and safe. But it's surprising how many people don't realize they need to hold on tight. A Sea-Doo or a PWC accelerates at extremely quick rates and also corners very, very tightly. And you know that by holding on tight to the handlebars that you're safe and you've got a good hold on. But it's amazing how many passengers don't realize this and take a quick bail to the left or the right or back. When it comes to small pleasure boats, you're going to want to remind everybody to balance the load properly. So we see all the time when we have people out on the boat, and if you haven't mentioned it to them, that boats are very affected by weight distribution. So people will gravitate towards one side of the boat or the other, not thinking about how it impacts the way the boat handles down the lake. So just by gently reminding them when they get on board to make sure that they keep a good space and even balance, much like on an aircraft, that the boat will perform a lot better and be safer going down the lake. You probably love your boat and are very particular. Not everybody knows that you shouldn't wear footwear in the boat or step on vinyl. Just make sure they know in advance when they're getting on board so you don't have to ruin anyone's day. You probably take for granted where all your safety equipment is because you put it on board. But in the case of emergency, your passengers aren't necessarily going to know where the fire extinguisher is, where the life jackets are, where the horn or signaling equipment is, or the anchor or the paddle. So give them a little lesson, show them where everything is. That way they'll feel more comfortable, particularly if they're new boaters because they've never gone through these situations before, and they'll know that because you're informing them that they should feel confident with you being their captain. Often people love to help. And one of the worst things they can do is help too much. You'll often see when new boat riders come into a dock or to a ramp, they quickly jump up to help. And they can either get in the way, they can jump from the boat to a dock and push the boat out. So normally what you would do is just tell them to, hey, stay seated while we're docking this boat, and I'll tell you when you can give me a hand. Everybody's going to want to take a plunge into the water. Just remember to remind them that there are sharp objects just underneath the water, beneath the swim platform, in either a lower unit or propeller, and to jump very carefully when going for that first dip. Also, make sure they know where the boarding ladder is so that in case they do fall off the boat or are in trouble, that they know how to get back on board. So when they're coming to the boat, you take for granted knowing everything you need for a day on the water. But they may have no idea that you want to make sure you have plenty of water, that you have shade protection in a hat, that you have sunscreen, and that you have the appropriate clothing for going swimming or going into town to have a meal at a restaurant. They may not have any idea how much they need or don't need getting on board a boat. You don't want them to bring an entire week's worth of clothes. And don't forget the towel. So you've got everybody on board. You want to know more about how to safely tow a tube? Check out this video here for more on that. Thanks for watching today's Cove Lessons in Boating. We'll see you out on the water.